Welcome to Been There, Watch That, where we watch and review movies and TV, new and old. I'm Justin, joined by Joe and Dave, as always. Be sure to check out our website if you want to look back and see what we gave ratings on all the other past movies we've done. BeenThereWatchThat.com. We're on all the major platforms. Hosted by Anchor.fm. And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at BTWT Pod. We skipped around a little bit. We started with the Social Dilemma of 2020, but then we've also done some movies from the 80s. Mad Max, Howard the Duck. Last week we did Rocket Man. And we're continuing the music theme this week with Dave's pick, Begin Again, which I had never heard of, but I was happy to watch it.
Yeah, so we came into this and it was my pick, and I gave you guys a choice. And it was either Foxcatcher, which is kind of a documentary almost, or a pickumentary, I guess, about wrestling and the DuPont family, or Begin Again, which is about music. And some of the debate, I think, Joe, help me out here, was whether we wanted to do another movie about music.
I think that it was between a feel-good movie or something else. And
kind of a darker movie.
Yeah, so
that's what came down to.
Since Justin's pick was kind of a feel-good movie towards the end, I think we decided that this turnaround, we would all pick kind of feel-good movies. So your pick was Begin Again.
Yeah, is this foreshadowing into what your pick's going to be?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Interesting. All right.
So yeah, 2014 movie, not super old.
Yeah, I went with Begin Again just because it had Mark Ruffalo in it, and I like him. He's a good actor.
Yep.
He really picked it up. He became more known after he did the Now You See Me movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that really jumped him up in stardom, and then he's got a lot of movies under his belt.
Is that an older one? Now You See Me?
I'm not sure. It's got Woody Harrelson's probably the next biggest name, or John Cain, Jim Cain, James Cain, John Cain.
He played in
British
Zombieland with him.
Yeah.
Did you see Zombieland, Justin?
Well, no, the older guy.
Oh, I was talking about the kid.
The kid is he did Social
Network.
Social Network, yeah. He's pretty popular now.
Yep.
And it had the red-haired girl was in a lot of movies. And then, not Zac Efron, but the other one. Shoot. He was in Neighbors with him. Huh. What the heck?
Right.
All right, now this is where we're going now. Now we're talking about the cast of another movie.
This is kind of killing our credibility. We're supposed to have this kind of a know-all of movies, and here we are going, that guy that did the thing with the other people and stuff.
I mean, come on.
So while you guys are looking that up, how about I give the synopsis?
There you go. Give the synopsis, because I just can't help it. I got to look at Now You See Me to see who the actors are.
Okay, so the synopsis of Begin Again is a chance encounter between a down-and-out music business executive and a young singer-songwriter new to Manhattan turns into a promising collaboration between the two talents.
Okay.
Mark Ruffalo being the down-and-out guy.
Yep.
And then Keira Knightley is the
Greta
songwriter.
Okay, so the Now You See Me cast. Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes.
There you go. He's the young guy that plays in Social
Network.
Social Network.
Zombieland.
Yeah, and Zombieland. Woody Harrelson's also in Zombieland. And then Dave Franco.
Right.
He's the younger, good-looking guy. Mark Ruffalo, of course. Morgan Freeman's in it.
That's right.
Isla Fisher is the red-haired girl. And then Michael Caine is the older British guy. And then it has Melanie Laurent, who was also in a couple movies. She's French.
So,
anyway.
And the cast in this one, as we said, it had Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley in it.
Yep.
And James Corden plays Steve. And some of his work includes The Late Late Show with James Corden on CBS.
I kind of forgot about him being in it until I watched it again.
Well, when I started the movie, I was like, I think I know that guy.
Yeah,
and
James
sure
Corden.
enough, it was who I thought it was. And he's also played in Trolls and Peter Rabbit.
Yeah.
Keira Knightley, for those that you aren't familiar with her, she's been in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, huge role for her.
Mark Ruffalo, one of the big standouts is The Avengers.
Yep.
Paul Romero, he was a bartender. He's been in Law and Order forever.
Really?
Mm-hmm. According to IMDb.
Did not know he was the bartender.
So he's been in Law and Order forever. And Catherine Keener, who played Miriam.
Yep, the wife.
Yeah. As soon as I saw her, I knew exactly where I'd seen her before. She was in 40-Year-Old Virgin
Yeah.
with Steve Carell.
Yeah, she's a,
Really?
she's in a
She
lot
was
of
the
stuff.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen?
Yeah, I have, but I don't remember.
She's in Get Out as well. She's the crazy.
Yes, now I do remember her in Get Out.
Yep.
Okay. So pretty strong cast, really.
Yeah.
I mean, not like huge names other than Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley, but James Corden, not for movies, but now in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not,
Huh.
a big who's who, but these are still very reputable actors and actresses. I mean, this movie still holds a lot of weight. Plus, I didn't mention Adam Levine, but
Yeah, Adam
he's more of a
Levine.
musician than an actor, but
Yeah.
still, he plays a big role in this movie.
Yeah, I watched it on Sunday on Pluto. I'd never used Pluto before.
Yeah.
Commercial breaks, but they weren't
Yeah.
super long or annoying, and it was worth it to watch it for free, I thought.
Oh, yeah. I like Pluto.
Mm-hmm.
Joe got me hooked on it, and I did a review for it, and I used it once just for the review, but now this movie popped up, so now I've used it twice.
Yeah, I fired it up, and then
Really easy to do, though.
there was a golf on, and I was like, maybe we'll just watch some golf for a while.
It's winter time. I miss my golfing, so
Yeah.
we'll catch some golf.
It locked you in like
That's
it
funny.
grabbed you.
It's cool, not to get too off topic, but just that a streaming, just an app, it looks just like a TV. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like DirecTV. I mean, just
Yeah, it has
that
the same
lines are so
guide, yeah.
blurred now between what
Yeah.
is TV anymore, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pluto
It's kinda cool.
TV, when they started, it has became such a big thing. At CBS actually bought them out, so that's why you see a lot of CBS, Warner Media.
I'm impressed
content
it's
on
still
there.
free and it's affiliated with CBS.
Well,
Which one's Peacock? Is that NBC?
NBC. Yeah.
Okay, that's why.
But, well, they kind of grabbed onto a good thing, so it's like,
Yeah.
why not?
Usually the big companies gobble them up and then mess them up.
Well, I think once they seen the cash flow, is like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's not monkey with this too
Yeah,
much.
good. Smart on their part. So a lot of interesting tidbits. Now this movie, and of course, Mark Ruffalo, he's a down and out music exec that gets fired, having trouble with his daughter. His wife cheated on him, and they're kind of separated. And he's a drunk. And Joe, you commented before the show that he's a drunk, and they go way out of their way to show that he's a drunk.
Yeah, the movie, I will openly admit this, I make no bones about it. I have a very short attention span.
Oh yeah.
This movie, and it wasn't because of the storyline and the plot, it was just the way that it rolled out, was a little too slow for my taking. For example, at the very beginning, we spend 15 to 20 minutes establishing that he has a drinking problem.
Oh yeah.
They show him drinking in the car, okay? Then they show him drinking at the bar.
Yeah.
And then they show him being drunk on the subway.
Yeah.
And then they show him, it just continues like, okay, I get it. He's drunk. I'm far from being the smartest person around, but I get it. He's drunk. He has a drinking problem. Let's move on.
And I was giving you a hard time. It's because he was drinking without an explosion happening.
Yeah.
So therefore you were bored.
Yeah, wasn't being shot at while drinking.
Yeah. There's no action plot to this underlying drinking thing. It's just him drinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of show how his relationship with his daughter's pretty strained too, because I mean he's got his day with his daughter in the city, and he's obviously been drinking. She's like, wow, and then at one point he says he gets her age wrong. He says,
yeah, he messes up her birthday,
15-year-old. She's like,
and she mentions
I was
his drinking.
15,
Yeah,
yeah.
she mentions his drinking, and he lies and says, "Oh, I was getting gas and spilled gas," and,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and she's not buying any of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You can see the strained relationship there. That she's not really much connecting going on because.
So, and this was about two strained relationships: Mark Ruffalo with his family,
Mm-hmm.
and then also with Keira Knightley, who's Greta in the film, and Dave, which is the Adam Levine, their relationship. So she writes songs, he sings them, and they go to New York City. He's hitting the big time, and he cheats on her while he's on the road with Mim, one of the people that are his handlers from the record company. And so they're on the outs. And then she meets up with her old buddy James Corden, who's now in New York City, and they start hanging out and goofing off. And then he drags her to open mic night. The night before she's to head back to England, he's like, "Come to open mic night. You need to get out. One last hurrah." And he talks her into singing a song on stage. And of course, Mark Ruffalo is there getting drunk, and is very drunk, and hears her. And Did you guys find that scene where he's sitting there and he puts in a drummer and a fiddle or violin player, cello player, guitarist with her, and he can hear it in his head, but he's the only one hearing it? Did that make sense to you?
The drumstick would like levitate and then
Yeah.
start playing because he's imagining like how the song would come together with some more elements to it, like a piano and drums and stuff.
Yeah.
It was a little weird, but
Yeah, it was one of those. I knew where he was going with it, but I was like, come on. Now it's getting a little
the violin,
little too
the
much.
string hovered
It
in
was
there
weird,
and
but
played. Yeah.
So here's what I got out of it, though. It showed him listening to the song from her perspective first. I just barely noticed him walk up and kind of look. And then it comes back a second time and shows that from his perspective.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw him, he looked like a drunk idiot. The second time, it goes through with him seeing all that in his head, and that's why he looked dazed and confused, or at least dazed. But he was putting it all together in his head.
And the scene is there's people basically being rude and completely
Yeah, just
talking over her while she's trying to perform a song. Basically, no one is interested in hearing her little song at this open mic night, but he's totally enthralled and he hears the potential, supposedly, that she has.
Now I found this interesting. Keira Knightley actually had to learn to play guitar for this role.
Yeah.
And
the
her
singing, I was wondering too if that was her. I don't know.
I don't know about the singing, but I did find where she had to learn to play guitar for this role. And her husband is a musician, James Wrighton. He offered to train her, and according to Knightley, his lessons were so disastrous that it almost led to divorce and murder.
Yeah, I could see that being the case. When anytime a married couple that's already around each other a lot tries to do something like that, it gets sideways in a hurry. Huh. So, and there's all kinds of little tidbits on this. Like the apartment that the recording studio gives them is actually Adam Levine's real house.
Yes.
And his
From,
wife.
Maroon 5, for people that don't know.
Yeah,
Yes.
Maroon
Main guy.
5.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But interesting stuff. So, a lot of underlying subplots. One, his drinking problem, his fallout with his family. And I'll say there's one scene where, he talks about he has something hanging from his rearview mirror that has two plugs. It's a splitter.
Yes.
And he's like, yeah, my first date with my wife, we walked all around the city listening to music together, and then he does that with Keira Knightley, and it's almost like they might develop a romantic relationship.
Yeah. Cena watched it with me last night,
Yeah.
and she was getting a little agitated because she was afraid that they was going to fall in love, and
Right.
she
would be the story.
Yeah, she was getting a little agitated over it.
Because
Yeah,
she's a lot younger than him.
My dad had the same reactions that if they end up getting together, then I'm gonna take this down a star or so.
Yeah.
Because that would be too predictable.
And kind of, in my mind, inappropriate because she's young. She's like early 20s, and he's, 40 with a teenage kid. And what sold it for me that might be the deal? I'll see if you guys know. Was there another hint that you saw that might kind of spell out that being the deal?
What, that they might
end
develop
up
a love
together.
interest?
Yeah.
They go back to the
Nope.
apartment at one point, but then the
Nope.
friend is there.
Yeah, the friend kind of interrupted the climax of them maybe kissing.
Yes.
But did you notice that she took on the role of kind of mothering the daughter?
Right.
First time she met the daughter, she's like, "Hey,
Trying to
what's
be-
the look with that kid in the blue shirt?" She's like, "Oh, you saw that?" She's like, "Yeah." And she goes, and then they start talking about dress, and she's like, "You want to go shopping?" And he walks away because they're having ice cream, and he walks away to get away from the conversation and let her do her thing. The
Right.
girls are going to bond. So his daughter, who is 14, which he messes up the age as you mentioned, Joe, bonds with Keira Knightley. And they kind of have that relationship where she's mentoring his daughter. And I almost felt like they purposefully put it in like a stepmother way.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to combine with your mom here and kind of help you learn boys and learn. Because she was dressing very provocatively for a 14-year-old. And she's like, yeah, you don't leave much to the imagination. And then her dress habits change for the better as a parent, for the better. And you'll get to this, Joe, in about 10 years. You're welcome.
Unfortunately.
And
that part I'm not looking forward to.
so that was kind of in my mind, though, that Keira Knightley setting herself up to be his love partner.
Yeah, I thought the movie did a good job with keeping you guessing a little bit and having a little bit of tension of, well, what's going to happen here? It wasn't formulaic. That's what I said to Dave earlier. That
Yeah.
I like that part of it. That
Yeah.
it
Kind of some
wasn't-
switcheroos.
Yeah, but there was always that tension. Like, what's going on here? Are they gonna? Is that gonna be a thing? But then there's a thing with his. Is it his current wife? They never divorced.
Right. Right. They just separated.
She
He
cheated
moved
on him,
out.
But they didn't
Yeah.
divorce. But they're kind of going back and forth too. So.
Well, and that's what he stops at their house, and she's like, "Yeah, this isn't appropriate." And he's like, "Yeah, I just need a quick shower and help me pick out some clothes." And he kind of offers, "Hey, why don't you jump in the shower with me?" And the wife kind of gives him a little look, like when he's not looking. She checks him out. So you're like, well, maybe there is a little spark still there, and so and then I also thought, well, with Keira Knightley staying with Jim Corden in his house, and it was hard for me to tell if he was like a love interest or just a really good, opposite sex partner.
Right.
So did you guys have any feelings that he might end up being a
Oh,
love interest?
It crossed my mind as a possibility. My dad and I kind of laughed about it. Like, what's going to happen here? Is she going to hook up with the
Yeah,
the friend?
I didn't pick that up. I didn't think
Okay.
that would go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. He wasn't really the type. He was kind of like a baffling goon that was just her best friend,
Right.
which is weird because they, I guess if they were really good friends, she'd have known he was in the city and they'd have met up earlier. But it was kind of like just happen chance they ran into each other.
Right.
Well, the initial meeting with her and Ruffalo, like he's in the mindset of a music producer. Like, we need to get you a look. We need to get an album, and then we need a hit song, and you can go straight to the top. And her whole thing is she's more of a pure
Yeah.
artist, is not really interested in all that. She's like, I write songs because I enjoy it, and like this is what I like to do.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to like get a look and become something, and eventually, yeah, they
She
end
lo-
up doing the whole album in the city where they record around different places, which is
She played the sport because of the pureness of the sport.
yeah.
I like how they had the little discussion of name an artist that the music industry hasn't changed, so they start moving. It's like, yeah, they've changed him, and then they said Randy Newman. Are you guys familiar with Randy Newman's
I
work?
don't know who Randy Newman
I
is.
guarantee it, you guys are familiar with his work and don't know it.
I would believe that wholeheartedly on my end.
Okay, have you guys seen any Disney Pixar movies?
Sure.
Randy Newman has a heavy hand in it. Toy Story, You Got a Friend in Me? Randy Newman.
Really?
Yes. Dave's getting the keyboard out.
Yep. Randy Newman, American songwriter. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, because as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I know exactly who they're talking about. And
So how did? So he wasn't influenced by anything?
Well, he is one of the few artists where music industry hasn't tried to give him this image to and be
Yeah,
edgy.
what was the first artist they said when they were talking about that
Oh, I don't
debate?
know. Who was that?
I don't know, but
He
you know,
basically said, "Yeah, no, that
Randy
person's
Newman.
not-
Holy cow! Yeah, he's got all the Pixar films almost: Toy Story, Bugs Life, Monsters Inc., Cars, James and the Giant Peach, Princess and the Frog, Ragtime, Natural. I remember The Natural. That's a good movie. Awakenings, Pleasantville, Meet the Parents, Seabiscuit, Marriage Story. Jeez. 22 American Award nominations.
I was telling
3 Emmys. 7
Dave
Grammys.
Joe's kind of funny at the very beginning of the movie. Like, his whole job is to seek out talent and artists and stuff.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
listening to demo CDs in his car. And
Oh, yeah, so funny.
cussing them out basically. Like,
Yeah, and
no,
then you
no,
start.
no, and throwing them out the window.
Yeah,
This-
see him
he's
flying
talking
out
to
the
him as if
window.
they're in a car with him.
Yeah,
He's like, come on, no, this is. And all the songs are kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
Him just throwing them out the window is pretty funny.
As he drives down the road.
Yeah.
yeah. That kind of goes into discussion that Dave and I had the other day. Because if you listen, all those songs sounded very similar. And Dave, what was that term you gave it, where like it's the same song with just different lyrics? What was it? A music trap or?
Trap song.
There you go.
Yeah. So they all have the same rhythm and tempo. So now everything's trap songs. If you listen to any hip hop or like Hits One, here's my thing. I would say if you listen to like Hits One on Sirius or anything like that, all the hits, the top 10, are all going to have the same rhythm, same beat, same tempo.
Yes.
They're all trap songs.
And if you listen to all those songs, basically they was all a trap song, because if you listen, they was all about, the verbiage was different, but they had just about the same tempo. And after
Yep.
that discussion you had last week,
Yep.
when he started playing, it's like that's when I'm
Yeah.
zeroed in on to see if they actually played anything differently or if it was basically the same.
And he said that. He's like, come on, turn into something. Turn into something. And they didn't, so he'd check them out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of them started out kind of good, and then
Yeah.
he's like, oh no.
Yeah, it was good till he
He's-
started singing.
It's like kind of that maybe he came from, like his heyday was 10 years before, and now
Yeah.
he's always kind of upset about where the music industry is now, like
Well, and
the
that's
whole business of it. He's kind of distraught.
yeah.
with that.
The guy that he started the record label with, turned on him kind of. That's the impression I got. That guy turned on him, was like, "Listen, music now is this, and you're not."
You gotta change with the times.
Yeah, he walks in and they're having a meeting with an artist, and he's late for it. And he's like, heck with this. This is, that's trash. This is what we're doing, trash. And the artist looks at the other guy, and they're both like, he's drunk. It's okay. And then he fires him.
They tries to steal the art off.
Yeah,
the
he
wall.
does take art. So there's some comedy in this.
Yeah.
Tries to get his art
Yeah,
off
there
the
are a
wall.
couple things I thought were pretty funny.
I like what he says. Hey, he tells the two guys standing there, like, hey, follow him out, make sure he doesn't tear anything up. So funny. So he's on the rocks with his marriage. He's on the rocks with his daughter. He runs into Keira Knightley. He's on the rocks with her guy. And, just a whole train wreck of a scenario that comes together in this fulfilling whirlwind. And so what'd you guys think of the music idea? He gave her a pitch. He's like, hey, we don't need it. They go in and see the record label, his partner. And he acts as if nothing happened. And he's like, all right, let's get your demo. And she's like, I don't have a demo. He's like, well, let's get your tape. And he's like, I don't have a tape. And he's like, all right, we're doing it old school. Let's go. So she plays the song for the guy. And the guy's like, yeah, get you a demo. Come back. And he's putting him off. And Ruffalo goes outside and he's like, we don't need him anyway. Let's do this anyway. And so they rig up his car to make it a moving studio. And their idea is to have songs recorded in New York with whatever happens, sirens,
In
whatever.
an alleyway, he has to pay the kids off to stop playing basketball.
Yeah, and beating on a trash can.
Offers them like cigarettes. And
Yeah, they're like, we want a pack of cigarettes and a lighter. And he's like, I'll give you one cigarette to share and a pack of matches. And they wanted $5 each. He's like, how about $1 each? And then he's like, all right, $2 each, one cigarette.
And box of matches.
One of those kids was his son.
Really?
Yeah, Mark Ruffalo's son was one of those kids.
Mm.
So, yeah, pretty neat. But, and his last name in the movie is Dan Mulligan.
Yes.
And Mulligan's when you get an extra redo in golf. So kind of a little play on words of, he got a second chance in the music industry. So it's pretty neat.
They go around recruiting, like, just musicians, not even, like, a couple of them are students. So, like, we can't pay you, but...
we'll give you a deal on the back end.
Right. And the one guy is, like, playing piano at a little
a
girl's
ballet
ballet
school,
class.
yeah.
Comes in, and he's like, I quit. He, like, leaves the...
Yeah, I
I'm
found
out.
it interesting. I was like, okay, so there's a chance that the guy is probably getting paid. It may not be much, but you're leaving a paid gig for just
something exciting though.
yeah.
And, the one character is, like, CeeLo, I believe. Or
Yeah.
CeeLo, like, he's like a major...
Yeah, major
had
rap
some
star.
Pretty big hits that... I forget which one. But, yeah, he's his buddy, and he helps him out because he offers to pay for a couple bass players to add to the...
And a drummer,
band.
yeah. He needed a bass
So
player and a
they're
drummer.
just putting it together, like, hodgepodge of...
Yeah. Well, which is what you'd have to do in his situation. It's funny. He got the two students, the violinist and the cellist. And did you guys notice what the girl said?
Mhm.
As long as it's not Vivaldi, I'm
Yeah.
in. So that they were bored, they're just playing classical music, and now they got to do something cool. So be
Yeah.
part of a cool project. I could see that happening with students because they're kind of, they don't need money necessarily. I mean, they do, but not really for their day to day. And they'll be like, yeah, I'll work on a cool side project.
Yeah, did you notice what they was using for their pop filter?
Yeah, pantyhose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have pop filters here, and it's kind of crazy. I think that's just kind of the style to make the pictures and stuff look cool because these pop filters cost, $5. They're
Right.
cheap. But
But
piece
yeah,
of pantyhose and a metal coat hanger.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they are basic. If
Oh, yeah. I mean, shoestring budget.
Yeah.
So pretty neat. And James Corden becomes kind of like the recording guru guy who hooks up his car and says the first, Mercedes, which is an old school Mercedes, but first Mercedes, moving studio, recording studio. So good idea. I mean, I was kind of like, yeah, heck yeah, going rogue and, doing it this way. Why not? So, okay, back to the actual movie and the flow of it. When they got together and decided to go on this adventure, did you guys see it coming out like it did? Did you have any inkling? Because we already talked about, maybe Keira Knightley and Mark would have a little love fling. You met his wife, who was sick of his crap, and he was mad at and they had that little. Kira and Mark had a little blow up on a sidewalk about it wasn't him that caused this problem. It was his wife cheating on him. She kind of thought he was a deadbeat dad.
Right.
Which he was. He was a drunk deadbeat dad at that point. But before that, it was the wife's cheating that, he said, I was in 100%, and she cheated on me. So Kara kind of felt sorry for him, and then they bonded over that. I don't know, did you guys see any of that stuff coming? Or?
No, honestly, when they first introduced Miriam to the scene, I first thought they were actually was divorced.
Already divorced and done with each other.
Yeah. Until you found out later that they were just separated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they kind of got almost back together a little bit when she brought the daughter to the recording thing, because Miriam starts taking photos of the guys, which, I mean, she seemed like a nice lady, but... And then, and then at the end of the movie, of course, he moves back in. So. And
I like the parallels between Greta's music career and then the relationship between the father and the daughter. They both kind of grow together.
Yep.
Like as the music thing's taken off, he's incorporating his daughter into it. So their relationship's, gaining background and getting stronger, so that they was able to actually accomplish both tasks.
Yeah.
At the same time, he was able actually to merge them together.
Yeah, it ended up being a feel-good piece.
Yeah.
Now, here was the real ringer for me. Did you guys think her and Adam Levine were going to get back together?
No.
The whole time you didn't think so?
No, because they kind of, to me, it seemed like the only reason she ever would text him back was basically she was just lonely. And
well, but even still, he invited, he was on the road, and then, he tells her to come to a show. She leaves him a nasty message or a song she and James Corden made up. They're both drunk, and they leave him a message that's a song where she's saying, I'm done with you. But then he's like, hey, that opened my eyes. And so they met.
Yeah.
And then they talked and they walked, and, and she listened to his new song and then listened to his old song of hers that she hated. And, and he's like, come to the concert. You got to hear it. Come to the concert. You got to hear it. And then she kind of gives him an ultimatum, and this is what I realized. And Joe didn't. Let me ask you, because Justin and I already talked about this.
Okay.
When they're at the park and she listens to her song, they have a little back and forth. And she said they get in a little argument, and she's like, would you play it without all the crap, because that's how it's meant to be?
Right.
And he says, no, it's better this way. And he kind of sold out.
Yeah.
And she said, and he goes, I would throw this whole album in the ocean if it would get us back together. And she said, would you? What did you think of that part?
I call bull, because he already staked his claim of, it's so much better with all this.
Yeah.
Like, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
And I think that's kind of, in my mind, that's where she made up her mind that they were done.
Yeah.
At that point, they were done. Because, she says, well, would you? And he's like, and then, and I don't know if you noticed, either of you noticed, but they made fun of his beard.
That was a bad
costume
job.
I think, though, that was because he had sold out, because the beard was the image.
Yeah.
The image that the record company wanted him to have, the image that he had to have more fans, and they were making fun of him because he sold out.
Mm-hmm. Did you guys notice, and I didn't notice this till I read back on it, when he wins the Music Gong Award, that when they're watching the video on the laptop, the audience in the background is actually screaming Levine?
No.
I didn't either. But they said when they're sitting there at the laptop watching him win that award,
that
the audience is actually screaming Levine.
Ha! Isn't that funny? Okay.
Yeah, because he has a different, like his character name in the movie is something different.
It's David Cole.
David Cole.
Yeah, Dave Cole.
Yeah, and it's part of his, like when they first get to New York, there's like these younger women that are like, oh, can we get a picture with them? It kind of foreshadows a little bit of what we're trying to figure out. Wonder what happened between them. I'm like, yeah, he probably cheated on her, because he was just getting more and more in his head about being a star musician.
Yeah, he's letting
I'm a big deal now.
Yeah, he's letting starting to go to his head.
But before that, they had been like this songwriting team, and he kind of credits her with, I could have never wrote all these songs without her. But then once he gets in with the label, they're like, yeah, we don't need her anymore. Like, you're a star now. We can have all sorts of writers write all sorts of songs for you. Like,
and that's why I say the beard was the draw, his look, and then the promoter guy for the record company kind of foreshadows that. They're in the meeting, they're holding hands like, oh, I couldn't have known. He's like, oh, aren't you guys cute? Isn't that special? Don't you just love these guys, right? And he's smiling because he knows.
Yeah.
You know, he's seen it a million times.
Yeah, that
The
guy
guy
is-
gets famous, has chicks hanging all over him, and
Yep.
you know, no longer needs the lady.
Yeah, Greta's in it for the art of music, and he's in it for the fame and fortune.
Yeah, for the love of music.
Yeah.
And he couldn't, because she asked him to play their song that they wrote together, but like in the original way, not the popped up version that he'd been doing on stage. And like, I think, and she comes to see the show, and he starts playing it kind of that way, but then he just can't help himself. He has to go with like
Yeah.
with the crowd favorite way of like hyping it up,
Right.
because it starts kind of acoustic almost.
Yeah, it does.
And she's watching, but then he starts popping it up, and she leaves. She's like,
Yeah, you can kind of see her hopes get up. You know, she's
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe he's coming around, maybe, and then he doesn't, and so
He can't
she's
do it, yeah.
like, I'm done.
Now that red electric guitar he played at the end of the movie, that is Adam Levine's actual personal guitar that he actually plays in concerts. That's his favorite guitar.
Yeah, nice.
That's his real life, out of his own collection.
What do you guys like Maroon 5? Just curious. I mean, some of the songs in the movie have me
Honestly, I'd never even heard one of their songs on
bobbing
purpose
my head a little bit. I
until.
thought he has a decent voice, a different voice. He got a real unique sound.
I'm familiar with his music. Now I'm far from being his number one fan,
Yeah.
but some of his music I do like. But
Joe, it's
not-
okay. You can like a boy band. We're all friends here.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's not much of his music catalog that you'll find on my playlist.
Uh huh.
So what's the budget on this one? I'm just curious. I like to.
Anybody? I don't even know. I didn't look any of that up.
As slow as pace as it was, I'm gonna say too much.
Ah, gosh. They didn't have any explosions or big CGI, so therefore we hate them. In Joe's world.
Okay, let me see.
Well, hold on. Did Cena like it? Did she think it was an okay movie?
She liked it, but she was with me. It was
Oh,
it
jeez,
was
there's two
moving
of
too
you.
slow.
So here's the problem. When Howard the Duck wins out a little bit because it has explosions in it.
There were a lot of explosions in that one.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
every other minute. So that's why they liked it. They're like, hey, Howard Duck's
What
not
do you
bad.
think of the ending, Dave? Like, because it's kind of just it's showing.
Showing the credits while it ends.
Well, it shows Ruffalo's character. He's kind of. It's obvious that him and his wife are
Yeah.
kind of on better terms and maybe getting back together.
Well, and he says, I'm going home. She's,
And
she's
then,
like, what are you doing? Packed.
I think at the ending, like frame is Keira Knightley riding a bike and just kind of being happy
Well,
alone or not with anybody and just.
And she kind of got her way because, so they go in, they record these songs, they make an album, and it's pretty awesome. They're both super happy with it, and they go in to see his old record label, and the guy's like, yeah, well, all right, let's do a deal. And she is very persistent, and they have that whole conversation, and talk us through that. Did you notice the conversation, Joe? Did you like the conversation? Justin, talk us through what happened.
Like
in
she's in the meeting with these execs, and they're basically telling her that a CD costs $10 to make. And
Yeah.
$7 goes to this person. By the end of it, you have $1 for the artist, and she
Yeah.
pushes back on that pretty hard.
Yeah, and
And it doesn't feel, because some people would be in that room like, you know what? I guess I just gotta take whatever deal I can get.
Yeah.
This is a record label, but she doesn't have that same. Like,
yeah, I like how she calls him out on like, okay, so this is what you're saying, but we're going all digital, so there's no CDs.
And they already did the work. That was
Yeah.
a big thing. She's like,
Yeah.
we have already done the work. This is already done. You didn't put a dime in this.
Yeah, and
But you're
yeah,
going to get $9 out, and I'm going to get $1.
Yeah. So I've already spent all the money, all the time, all the effort, done literally all the work.
Yep.
All I'm asking you to do is put your stamp of approval on this, and that stamp was worth $9 out of $10.
Yep.
Right. And they do. They just put it. They end up going around the label, putting it online.
So
selling
yeah,
it for
that,
$1. Yeah.
that was their big thing at the very end of the movie. That kind of like, all right, hey, we push this button, it goes out for $1.
Yeah,
The whole
They
album.
leave that open ended. They don't really say if it sold anything. Or
No, they
just
said it sold 10,000 on the first
Oh,
day.
okay.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
10,000.
I missed
Our
that.
first hour, first day, I can't remember.
Yeah,
That's when the credits were rolling.
Yeah, right the first day.
Because he goes back to the record exec and he pulls out his laptop and he's like,
Oh,
do you
yeah,
know anything
that's
about
right.
this?
As the credits were rolling. Yep.
Yeah, because he got his buddy, the rapper that he helped get big. He had him. He's
Yeah,
like,
CeeLo
hey,
Green.
retweet this.
Right.
And so he did, and it went out to like a gazillion of his followers, and then people started buying it. So
Yeah, he was kind of a key character. I mean,
did you
really,
did you catch? Yeah, he made everything
the whole
happen.
thing
yeah.
happen. I mean,
That he was nice. It was
yeah.
awesome. So yeah, definitely not what the image of rappers are for the most part. He's one of those good guys.
Yeah.
Hey,
But did you see his picture at the very beginning? Bet you guys missed
I
it.
didn't notice it.
So Mark Ruffalo and CeeLo Green, there was a picture of the two of them in arm.
Oh, yeah.
On the wall.
And she noticed that.
Yeah, whenever they was throwing him out of the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and all that was just that he felt indebted to him as a friend for when he helped him in the past. So
Yeah, where he got him to where
helped
he's
him
at.
get started,
So he's
yeah.
like, oh, it's nothing. I'll just pay for all the stuff.
Yeah.
So, but
For your
that's
project.
so yeah. So he retweeted that album. It went out. So did you guys notice what his former partner said to him as he was walking away?
Yeah. Get out.
Pack your stuff.
Clean out your locker.
Clean out
Yeah.
your locker.
He's like, clean out your locker. So he fired him in the end for letting that one go.
I took that one as a joke. Like, yeah, clean your locker out. I took it as like a joke.
I think he was already fired, and this might have been, if he had sealed the deal, he might have been let back in. But
Right.
since they released it for $1 independently, he's like, "Yep, clean out your locker."
Get out of here.
Because I just took it as, since he's actually back in the office, is like, okay, yeah.
The office was pretty bare.
You think so?
I think so.
I took it as a joke.
No, I don't think so. I think he was done with him.
So I was able to track down the budget. So
Okay.
the budget for this movie was $8 million.
Wow.
That's not bad.
It grossed in the U.S. was a little over 16 million. Worldwide gross was over 65 million.
Just looking at the cover art, Dave. Well, like Joe, you'd mentioned when I picked Rocket Man. When the musical started, you're like, uh-oh, what have we gotten into? When I was looking at this cover, I was thinking, uh-oh, what have we gotten into? Is this some sort of rom-com? But like we'd said before, it doesn't follow all the rom-com formulas. Or anything.
Yeah, because that's when I was with you, Justin. I first thought, oh, it's going to be a rom-com. And
Because it's just the two of them sitting there kind of looking at each other on a car, so it kind of makes it seem like boy meets girl type of thing.
Yeah,
is what
but
this is gonna be.
I have to say, I do like how they plant the seeds of thinking, okay, yeah, this is where we're going to go, and there's like not even close.
Just this little thing says that Keira Knightley was actually singing songs.
Okay, so that actually was her
It
voice.
wasn't like dubbed over or anything, which would be pretty hard, I think, to make it look realistic.
I don't know, guys. I've seen some movies
Really?
where Old Brother, Where Art Thou, where George Clooney and them
Yeah.
sing. That's not them singing, and I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
those are pretty good dubs.
Well, let me ask you, what did any of the songs stand out to you?
I couldn't tell you what the songs were.
I'm gonna say not really.
No, really?
Really.
Well, I don't know.
The rooftop song where his daughter comes in with the electric guitar,
Yeah,
I
that
thought
was
was amazing.
Her
Okay.
solo. Her solo.
Her
was
solo
cool.
on that was
Yeah.
stinking amazing.
Now there's a little gotcha on that scene, too. At the end of the song, it shows him and her playing guitars, but
Yeah.
it's actually just her guitar you hear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think she was playing. Like, I don't think that was her really playing at
Right,
all.
but-
Like, in my mind, it wasn't even close because her strumming didn't match
Right.
what was playing.
Right.
I think they could have done a better job there. But
I like the music overall. I couldn't
Yeah.
necessarily tell you like what any of them were about, or they or kind of had a similar vibe, that kind of soft. I don't know what you call it, guitar music,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
songwriter stuff. But I liked it. It was good. Said it grossed 65 million worldwide, $8 million budget. That's not bad.
No.
Not bad.
Nice little return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty solid movie. They didn't win anything for it. They're both Emmy Award winners, but not for that movie. You know, it got a pretty good cast, not too bad.
It's not a who's who, but it's far from.
I mean, Ruffalo, you know, he's a big name now, but he wasn't back then, I don't think.
Right.
And Knightley, kind of the same. She kind of faded after Pirates of the Caribbean, kind of came back in, and then James Corden. This is before he hit it big, right?
right.
And the daughter.
Yeah, this is one of the. It was kind of a good stepping stone for a lot of these actors and actresses.
Well, the guy that plays his business partner at the label is Mos Def, who's like a pretty big rapper.
I've seen him playing something else, and
Hip-hop
for the life
artist.
of me, I cannot think of what he's in.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out too. I just
Because
googled it.
as soon as I saw him, I was like, I've seen him in.
Yeah, he's played a
Something.
couple of them. He played in the
Yeah.
movie with Bruce Willis, where he's a guy that the cops are trying to kill, and he keeps like 16 blocks or something like that. He's in that.
So yeah, a couple.
The daughter played in True Grit. I knew I saw her somewhere.
Yeah, the
A
remake.
couple
Yeah.
musical artists turned actors in this movie, or ones
Yeah.
that could do both.
Yeah, Adam Levine, CeeLo Green.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think of James Corden as an actor, but he's in there as well. But he's in the Cats movie. Don't ever watch that one unless you want nightmares, like people say. It's a little weird.
So, are you hinting that's your next pick, Justin, just to make Dave and I just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
There are a couple little moments where I thought were maybe a little cheesy, like where they sneak into a nightclub with their headphones still in and dance around.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. But yeah,
Wasn't my favorite part, but what are you gonna do?
I agree. All right. Well, how much of this did we cover? Did we get it all in?
I think we did.
All right.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
now,
dun.
now time of the reveal.
Yeah. So, Joe, we kind of already said this. There wasn't enough explosions for you
Yeah.
or enough CGI.
Right.
Justin, can't really feel where you're at on this one. I know where I'm at because it's my pick, and I kind of knew what to expect. So I
Right.
feel like
Well, how long had it been since you'd seen it, Dave?
all years.
Years?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it came out 2014,
13.
13.
Yeah.
So it's 8
Oh, no,
years old.
2014. Yeah, it
Yeah,
came out July
alright, so-
2014.
7, 8 years old. So I probably saw it, at least 4 or 5 years ago. I didn't remember some of it, so
Yeah, I'll be short and sweet. I got some laughs, and it, like I said, it didn't stick to an eye-rolling rom-com plot, and I like the little interplay where we're quite sure what was going on with different possible romantic interests. I like the music for the most part. I thought Ruffalo was good. It's always good to see him in a movie, so
Yeah.
I enjoyed it overall. I'll give it a large popcorn.
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I think I'm at a large too. Maybe it's spilling over large. I mean, this is something that I would watch again, but not too many times. So I'll say a solid large.
Okay, so I'm going to be the minority again.
That's okay.
Yeah. This is why we do this.
Oh yeah. Gotta have different opinions.
And I'm going an overflowing small because
Holy cow!
Whoa!
and
A
here,
bomb is just dropped.
yeah, because it was so, there were some scenes that were just so drawn out that
Mhm.
I lost attention to it.
Did you
And-
fall asleep during this?
No,
video,
I
Joe?
didn't.
Okay, you didn't
I did
fall
not
asleep.
fall asleep. Now, if I fell asleep, it would have been a burnt popcorn. But it was just like you said, the music was great, the cast was great, the storyline was awesome, but it was like they almost went too heavy-handed on some of this stuff. Like some of it was the story would have moved along better if they would have cut out some of this stuff. It's like, okay, because I clocked it. I kept hitting stop at the beginning to see how long this,
Well, you
establishing that he
mentioned
is
establishing he's drunk. Yeah, that was your go-to.
10 to 15 minutes, give me 2 minutes. He's got a drinking problem. We're good. Let's move on. But 15 minutes of it, come on, you've lost me. And Dave, I'm going to take this page out of your book.
Yeah.
Being professional.
Oh yeah.
If I wasn't doing it for this, I would have already changed the channel.
Really?
Yes. Because 10 minutes of watching the guy establish he's drunk, that's
A bit much.
a bit much for me.
Yeah.
So it's an overflowing small, would have been a solid medium, even possibly even overflowing medium if they had tightened it up just a little bit.
Hour and 44 minutes. You're saying it probably could have been an hour and a half.
Yeah,
or less.
cut about 15 minutes out of it,
Mhm.
and we'd been solid medium all the way.
Yep. Okay.
Interesting. Okay. I mean,
But I didn't give it a burn, so I mean,
Why? It's not Howard the Duck. There was actually dialogue that made sense in this one.
right. That's what I'm saying.
That's why I'm kind of with you. I thought you'd be a medium, honestly, just because to be
Well-
a small based off of Howard the Duck,
well, that's why I said overflowing.
it's not hard to be a small.
Well, that's why I say it's overflowing small.
I gotcha,
It's been
I
a solid
gotcha.
medium.
I got you.
Because when I started going into it, it's like, once you got into the story, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, this is making sense. I like it.
Yeah.
I like the whole concept of she's trying to do music for the art side of things and being different.
Yeah.
I really liked that part, but it was just the beginning. It just killed me so bad. It was
Yeah.
like,
Huh.
Yeah, come to think of it, Howard the Duck was kind of a music movie in a way. Definitely had a movie music theme to it. So that's 3 in a row now, I guess.
It had a theme, all right.
yeah.
Trash band theme.
So
Yeah,
it's our
anyway.
third music
Oh gosh.
theme movie.
All right. So, Justin. Never mind. Joe,
Yes.
next week's pick. Are we going with another music theme, or are you gonna unleash the theme of or what movie we're going to see next week?
Okay, so your guys's had a music theme, but it still had a kind of a feel-good vibe to it.
Gotcha.
So my pick, it's not going to be a musical, so there's not going to be a music theme,
Okay.
but it still has
I'll watch it then.
You got Justin reeled in. All right.
it still has a very good, a very great feel-good movie at the end. It's Peanut Butter Falcon.
Ooh, this is a newer movie.
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes.
Shia LaBeouf. Boy, he's full of controversy.
And, an actor with Down syndrome? correct?
Yes. Yes.
Which is maybe a first. I mean, definitely.
Zach Gottensagen?
The amount,
He's a main character.
the
that's
amount of
for sure.
Yeah.
screen time probably hasn't been matched before.
And Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a very big who's who now.
Bruce Dern, Thomas Hayden Church. It's got some big actors in it.
Now, if there,
John Hawkes, he's played in a lot of movies as a Beeline character, and John Bernthal, he came out big in The Accountant. And yeah, I mean, it got some pretty decent actors in it.
yeah, it also it has it's a movie about a young man with Down syndrome who wants to become a professional wrestler,
Yeah.
and it actually stars a couple of legends from the wrestling industry, Jake Roberts, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Mick Foley. And Mick Foley is also a New York Times best-selling author.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's kind of built on a little bit of a true story.
Really?
Anyway, that'll be next time. So, if you want to hear about Peanut Butter Falcon, watch it. Join us next week. We'll go all through it.
And see what if your thoughts match our thoughts.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I'm gonna gamble on this one. I'm going to guarantee this will be a guaranteed no burnt popcorn zone.
Really?
Yes, I won't put the stakes high, but I will put stake on it. A guaranteed no burnt popcorn. Will be shocked at a small popcorn.
Okay.
So I'm betting my
Joe's
chips
been
now.
watching my ratings, and he's got me figured out, I think. And he's reading my mind already.
Well, Justin, I have found that our movie tastes are very similar. And then throw Dave in the mix. Dave kind of throws that curveball every once in a
I'm
while.
older, wiser.
Older? No.
The wiser is definitely arguable. But older, and I'm not as attuned. So here's where I draw the line. I'm not as attuned to the big explosions and the CGI. Like, I almost don't like those.
Right.
Hence the huge dislike of Howard the Duck. So, something to be said for that. I
Now,
don't know
can-
what, but something.
Now, can we give our listeners just a little peek behind the curtain of the brief discussion we had over text message over Howard the Duck?
Oh, gosh.
So, I may have found someone that created a Howard the Duck 2 movie poster online. And I sent it to both Dave and Justin and said, here's my pick for next round. And Dave immediately, I mean, it was within seconds of receiving that text, I got one word back, fired.
Fired, yes. Jeez, Howard the Duck.
And,
Yeah, if
and-
that was a real thing, if that was a real pick, yeah, you definitely would have got fired
Yeah,
on that.
you're right. You're out. You're out and you're out. Gotta find somebody else.
Okay, now this is back because Justin, usually you have my back, and now you're jumping on the
Oh,
Dave
I
train.
wouldn't have fired you. I'm just saying that.
No,
Yeah,
he'd
but you
have
wouldn't
been
That's where
great
Dave
with you
was
getting
at.
fired, though. That's what he's
He
saying.
couldn't get pushed anymore.
Definitely get rid of
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Justin wouldn't fire me, but Dave or
Don't
Justin's
start
backing Dave
backpedaling
on
now.
this was like, yeah, get rid of him. He has no he
Get
what he's
him
talking
out of
about.
here. Yeah, get him out of here. Anyway, all right. Whew. Okay, well, I thought we had pretty good cover. Begin Again. I mean, lesser known film.
Yes.
got some good actors in it
Yes.
and actresses, and coming away with a large on our behalves and a small overflowing from Joe's behalf.
Right.
I'm telling you, Joe, I wish there was one explosion in there, and just seeing if your opinion would have changed.
Honestly, if there would have been an explosion, it would have ruined the film.
I know this. I'm just saying.
I know, but
You might have been like, all right, I got my fix of an explosion. Here we go. Now let's watch the movie.
well, how about this? On your next pick, Dave, tell me if there's any explosions or not. And if there's not, I will sit with a little thing of firecrackers, and I'll just throw it at the TV.
You'll batten down the hatches yourself.
Yeah.
I got it. All right. Okay.
I don't know where this came from. This is totally left field, but have you guys seen any movies where it's the same actor interacting with him or herself, where like they do, whatever sort of camera tricks or CGI they can do?
Oh yeah. Multiplicity with Michael
Where-
Keaton back in the day.
Well, then there's
Face
there's
Off.
some newer ones too. Well, Face Off, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like,
Face Off's the wrong choice. Sorry.
like you would record a scene
Yeah.
as one person, then you.
Oh
would
yeah.
film it.
Yeah. Several of those.
Yeah, like
We used to watch a show.
Nutty Professor with
yeah.
Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then,
for some reason that popped in my head. Maybe do a series on ones like that.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. My next pick might just be Multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Okay, it's been a while since I've seen that.
It's a good one. I like Steve. I like pizza.
Well, if that's what we're going to do, then I might pick Nutty Professor. I don't know.
Oh gosh, please don't.
Okay, that just locked it in there.
Well, yeah, and then Will Smith, I guess, did one recently where
Yep.
there's a totally CGI version of himself.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What movie?
Had to
Man.
look it up.
Yeah. And then we used to watch a show. I can't remember what it's called, but it was about twin girls, but it was the same girl, Maddie and whatever the other one. It's a kids show, kids program.
The Deuce, did you ever see that on HBO? It's James Franco and his twin brother. He plays both.
No.
No.
Well, and then Thomas Hardy did one.
Right. Yeah. Pretty recently too. Yeah.
Liv and Maddie.
Okay. That's all played by one girl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's twins, but she's. So yeah, you'll get there. That you're close to getting there. Liv and Maddie Rooney, identical twins.
Okay. I've seen that flip through Sadie's Disney Plus scroll, but I don't think she's watched any of it.
Well, you'll like it here before long.
Liking her out, here it comes.
Yep.
All right. Peanut Butter Falcon next week.
Dove Cameron.
I've seen it. Just full disclosure, but it's been a while.
I have seen it,
Been
but
a
it's been a
couple
long
years.
time as well.
Yeah. I'm anxious to hear your guys' take on that.
Yeah.
Because honestly,
When I watched it, I wasn't really paying attention either.
well, when I started watching it, of course, now that this, like I said, it's been a little while since I've watched it, but
Yeah.
it turned out better than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, the story at the beginning was kind of like, so that's why I didn't really pay attention a whole lot. This time I'll watch it to kind of spur conversation with us.
Right.
I feel like now, since we're doing this, I'm watching movies in a different way.
Yes.
I'm trying to pick up little tidbits here and there, which makes me focus on them more.
Yes.
And when I watched this, when it was late at night, and it's kind of like, I'm going to watch something before I go to bed here. That's how long ago I was still watching TV.
Right.
But yeah.
All right,
Interesting.
great.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, Justin, take us out of here, man. Or
All
Joe, somebody take us out of here.
All right. So to check out all of our other reviews and to watch the brutal beating that I took on Howard the Duck,
Yep.
check out our website at beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at BTWT Pod. And also subscribe to the podcast, Been There, Watch That. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, anywhere and everywhere that you can pick up your podcasts, all hosted by Anchor.fm.
All right, good deal. Well, Been There, Watch That. We'll be back next week. Join us for Peanut Butter Falcon if you want to get a jump start on it, or don't watch it, and you can get the full scoop to determine whether you want to or not.
There you go.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you. Let's have a great week, and we'll be back next week with more Been There, Watch That.
See you guys then.